Hi there, welcome to the latest episode of my 10-minute moan, and the topic of this 10-minute moan is the latest revelations by Police Scotland and a potential cover-up from a few years ago in the early days of BRANCHFORM. Now, Sky News done a fantastic interview where Conor Gillies has interviewed Jo Farrell. She's Police Scotland's Chief Constable, and the report he's put online says, headline, Police Scotland's Chief Constable SNP finance probe heading to prosecutors within weeks. Police Scotland's Chief Constable Jo Farrell refused to be drawn on whether the long-running probe will end imminently, and in an interview with Sky News. The police investigation involving Nicola Sturgeon's husband is moving on, with prosecutors to receive a file within weeks, Scotland's most senior police officer has told Sky News. The former First Minister and SNP leader's spouse, Peter Murrell, has been charged in connection with embezzlement of party funds. In her first interview since taking on the UK's second biggest police force, Chief Constable Jo Farrell insisted her officers are objective, but refused to be drawn on whether the long-running probe will end imminently. The investigation, dubbed Operation BRANCHFORM, was launched in July 2021 after officers received complaints about how SNP donations were used. There were questions about more than £600,000 raised for a second Scottish independence referendum campaign. Police Scotland had said Nicola Sturgeon remains under investigation after she was arrested and released without charge in 2023. The SNP's former treasurer, Colin Beattie, was also detained for almost 12 hours for questioning in spring last year. The 72-year-old has told Sky News that he's heard nothing at all from police recently. Murrell, 59, was chief executive of the SNP for 2 decades. He quit the role weeks before his arrest and resigned his SNP membership in wake of his police charge. The probe has involved detectives seizing a £100,000 motorhome from outside the home of one of Murrell's elderly relatives. Officers concluded in April there is sufficient evidence to charge Murrell in connection with embezzlement of party funds. The next stage is for Scotland's Prosecution Service, the Crown Office, to receive a report on the case from police and decide whether to proceed to court. A Crown Office spokesman said all of Scotland's prosecutors act independently of political interference. All of them. Okay. As a routine, to protect the integrity of ongoing investigations, we do not comment in detail on their conduct. Chief Constable Farrell was questioned by Sky News about why the investigation is taking so long to conclude. She said, it's a live investigation, complex investigation, and the matter has been progressed, and we expect the report to go to the Crown Office in a matter of weeks. Asked about the probe continuing in a general election year, she said, we've investigated allegations, that's moving on. We have very skilled professionals, objective individuals working on this case. The senior officer refused to say when the SNP probe would be fully concluded or whether other individuals would face further questions. I'm not going to make a commentary on the length of it. One person's been charged, the report will go to the Crown Office and it's a live investigation, she said. Ms Sturgeon unexpectedly announced her resignation as SNP leader and First Minister of Scotland months before the police arrested her and her husband. She has always insisted the probe never played any part in her sudden departure from office. Okay, Nicola. Right, so what does that tell us? If we apply common sense and logic to her words, and we think, when was Murrell arrested? And that was weeks ago. Sorry, Murrell was charged. Get it correct. You wouldn't have thought it would have taken more weeks to compile that paperwork, put it to the prosecution services who would then decide if there's enough evidence for a court date and a court process. So, the only logical thing I can think of is they are still looking to add to the charge. Now, that could be two things. That could be add to the charges and give Mr. Murrell additional charges, or add more people to the ticket, because you would want the whole thing prosecuted in the one go. If there's 2 or 3 people being involved in the same thing, you would want that to take place together. Now, the information I was given before Christmas was that the number being investigated could be as high as 6. We've only seen 3 people arrested and released so far, and that was Murrell, his wife Nicola Sturgeon, and Colin Beattie, who was the treasurer of the SNP. So that would mean there's at least another 3 people involved in the investigation in terms of possible criminal activity. So what happens next? I would be shocked and stunned if there are no further arrests and charges. And I would be more shocked and stunned if there was no other people charged. Okay? Now, on to a bit of a hot potato. I suggested this on a Twitter space a couple of weeks ago, where information has come my way of a potential or an attempted potential cover-up a few years ago with this investigation, with information given to me which is unsubstantiated, so just now is just a claim, and I can say it's nothing more than rumour, and it would be nice if someone clarified it. You can say yes or no. Did it happen? Did it not happen? And the suggestion to me was that about a year before these arrests, which would have been about 2022, those who were investigating the case, the BRANCHFORM case, there was a suggestion that they should release a press release saying that there was no criminality found and end the case. The people investigating it refused to do so, and they were then moved on. That's a big allegation, and I'm not suggesting it happened or it didn't happen. What I'm suggesting is, if such allegations are out there, then they need to be dealt with, and the public deserve to know whether these things are true or not true. So, I don't know how to do that. If anybody does want to give me pointers or want information, because there was some other bits of information I'm not going to suggest at this point, then contact me. So there we go. BRANCHFORM still not concluded, but I think it's more likely now that we will see more arrests and more charges, and I would suggest that there'll be more people getting arrested and charged, because that would see a natural conclusion for this. If it was only Peter Murrell and it was only the embezzlement he's already been charged with, that file would have been put in to the prosecuting services already. The fact that it hasn't, as I've already said, suggests it's either more charges to go to Murrell or other individuals to be charged along with Murrell. I'm betting on the second one. How many people? I don't know. The investigation was at some point looking at up to 6 people. But just because you've been investigated doesn't mean the police can get enough evidence to then charge you, and hopefully the prosecution find there's enough evidence to put you in trial. So, who's to say? But I'm quite confident we will see at least 1 and up to a maximum of 5, which I think will hardly likely happen within the next few weeks, before the paperwork is then put up to the prosecuting services, as already explained by the Chief Constable of Police Scotland. So there we go. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you've not already done so, please consider subscribing and tick the notification bell. And most importantly of all, unless you're any of these pesky people involved in the BRANCHFORM investigation, everybody else, have a great day. Cheery bye now.